All right, welcome back to Problem Solver Politics. I am your host, Cardinellis, with Cody the Oracle.
Hey, everybody.
And there's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics. And then above statistics, there's the daily costs. It just doesn't like reality when math hits him in the face. And the Yang Gang has done it once again. Just flooding the internet with positivity. So much so that a Warren poll was, I'm not even gonna botch this. Cody, you tell everybody what just happened.
All right. Well, I mean, I think. Well, hold on, let me change that. But there is. Okay, we'll get into the commentary later. We'll get into what actually happened first. So
Yeah.
there's a website called The Daily Cause. They seem to cover a variety of things, like many other websites. They do news, a lot of political news.
They're kind of like the communist propaganda newspaper started in 1939 by the Stalinists.
Okay.
Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, they do straw polls after the debates. Basically saying after the debates, so what Democratic candidate do you think performed best? Who would you vote for? Kind of stuff like that. As far as all it takes to submit to the poll, I think you have to put an email address in, and you can submit to the poll. So anyways, Andrew Yang actually came out on top in the latest straw poll done by the Daily Kos. He beat Elizabeth Warren, who generally does very well in their polls. Now, normally, wouldn't really talk about that because it's neat, right? But it's nothing crazy. But this is what happened after the poll finished last night. This is where the story gets getting interesting. So, we got update. Polls closed as Yang supporters ruin the poll. How did they ruin the poll? Well, looking at the data, make sure you guys can see it. It's big enough. I'll blow it up a little for you guys. Andrew Yang won the poll. He got the most votes. So I guess he did ruin the poll for Elizabeth Warren supporters because he got more votes than her. But even then, you would say that's kind of weird. But you guys probably see already on the screen, it gets even weirder. At the bottom, it says here, the rules are the rules. So these will be the official results. But tomorrow we'll analyze they didn't put real results in quotes. They just emphasized it. The real results. But those aren't the ones drained by one fringe candidate. I don't know. They probably need to correct that. That sounds like an error.
Yeah.
So anyway, they come out with, and I'm gonna go over another. They've done this in the past. This is the latest. By the way, when your headline is Warren unofficially, like they literally have to like editorialize like it's unofficially grows her lead in the post-third debate Daily Kos presidential straw poll. What does unofficially in parentheses growing your lead actually look like? Well, here we go. So the rule that I'm gonna go up a little more for you guys. There we go. So the rule that outside spamming of the poll is allowed. By the way, they don't really define
But
that
by
up here.
spamming, isn't spamming just voting?
Well,
Like that's literally like white people in the 1960s that, said, oh, well, all these blacks are loitering around the polling places. Therefore, they must be arrested and hauled away until voting day is done. They're not loitering, sir. They're waiting in line to vote. No, they're loitering. This is literally these guys saying, oh, those Yang Gangers, they're spamming. No, they're actually just participating in a online poll. There is no difference between the Daily Kos and white racists that didn't want the Voting Rights Act passed. No difference.
disagree 1,000% on that one.
How
But
is that
anyway,
different, Cody? How is that different? Saying that people waiting in line to
Because-
vote are loiterers,
hold
while
on,
people
hold
waiting
on.
in digital line
Hold
to
on.
vote are spammers. How is that different?
First of all, one, this doesn't matter. That's one way they're different. Two, they're actually different because the way they actually wrote an article where they define what they mean by that. We'll go through on that in a minute.
Okay.
Anyway, though, going through further on, as we found out last straw poll, pretty much all of Yang's support was external. Again, we'll go over what they mean by that in a second. Even during the best Bernie Sanders spamming days, there was and is strong local support for his candidacy. There is none for Yang. Wow, it's a bold statement. So the rules are the rules. Yang won, but I'm more interested in the dynamics of the real race. Again, not in quotes, but in emphasis. And the one that doesn't include Yang. Ow. Here's official results. He goes down. Once you filter out the Yang noise... I'm sorry, I'm going to go before. He says, once you filter out the Yang noise, Elizabeth Warren is around her usual high 30s to 40s, Bernie's right in the mid-teens, and Biden is back, yada, yada. So, anyway, as I'm sure anyone who's familiar with the Yang Gang watching this can imagine, people were not happy when they read, which is really kind of just offensive and disrespectful, I guess is the best way of putting the thing they're saying. You're not real. You're spamming us. Anyway, so here's the headline. They were forced to issue an apology on their website. Apologies to Andrew Yang supporters. But even in here, man, and when we get through here, though, I think I'll go through the larger issue. I think.
Let me guess. Was it one of those leftist apology that's not a real apology? Like, I'm sorry I beat up the wrong person, but I'm not sorry for always defending freedom and my where it's a sorry, not sorry
actually,
kind of thing.
I think this is. You might call me crazy because everything. But anyway, I think this has nothing to do with leftism, and I'll get to exactly what I think it has to do with one second here. So anyway. So here's the official apology. Apologies to Yang supporters from Rexy Media Rights. The community post. This content is not subject to review by Daily Cost staff prior to publication. Anyway, I don't know how many of you saw it, but I acted crudely toward what has become a large segment of the Daily Cost readership. Andrew Yang supporters, who didn't exist in his last post. Or I believe... Aha! I love this too. We'll go over this in a minute too. You'll notice the apology. I appreciate a name attached to it. This absolutely crap article that basically says Andrew Yang doesn't have real support and the real race is one without him was posted by Daily Cost staff. So no one attached their name to this. Someone at least sort of attached a name to this. But anyway, he goes through and says, basically admits that yes, whether or not that is happening. Oh, here we go. In recent Daily Cost straw poll diary, I expressed, well, let's just call it angst and leave it at that Andrew Yang supporters were intentionally skewing poll results in order to troll our website after Cost criticized Andrew Yang and his supporters.
What does intentionally skewing poll results mean? That's voting.
Every vote's trying to intentionally skew a poll results.
Yes, every poll is skewing the percentage of him for whom thou hast voted.
Yeah, that's the point of voting.
Let
me get a little further down. Like I said, I'll get to it.
I guarantee you this kid's an SJW.
Oh my God. But again,
take a drink.
Again, you're missing the real story here, though. Because this is what makes fun. So I'll post these links, and I will. I forget a lot, but I will post links in the description here. So he says, my position didn't account for Andrew Yang supporters who, one, were here before Marco's words. He's referring to a Andrew Yang hit piece they published by one of their authors, by name Marco. Two, came here in earnest to change minds after Marco said what he said. I am sorry for erasing you. That was wrong of me now that I have some time to cool off, and I wanted to directly apologize to all of you. Which, again, I'm going to give this guy 100% kudos for coming out and admitting that he did act pretty poorly, that he was jumping to conclusions based on no evidence. He admitted all that freely. Like I said, this isn't some weird... This is what I think is interesting. So, here we go. He says, my problem... Make sure you guys can read this on the screen with me. I'll make it a little bigger for you guys. Because this is the real story. Not the real story, but this is what we're seeing. I honestly, it doesn't even have that much to do with politics. It's just more to do with the internet and young people.
Okay.
He goes on to mention that he's in his first term of graduate school. So I'm assuming, or he or she's a younger person. Anyway, I say, my problem is that I am uncomfortable with the tactic of overriding an already pre-existing community's preference for another candidate simply because you can.
Okay, but hold on a second, Cody.
Well, wait, that's my point exactly. That is the issue we're seeing. And this is something that's not, it transcends politics. It transcends everything. It's something online that we do see is that once people kind of build these communities, they get very insular. And in their community, they say, Elizabeth Warren's supposed to win our polls because we're a Warren community.
You don't
when
understand.
That isn't what happens. When reality comes in, people say, well, guess what? This isn't a Warren community. It's a website open to the public. Anyone can vote. So the public is coming in and letting you guys know outside of your insular community, not everyone's a Warren fan. There actually is a Yang fan base.
What creates this idiotic idea of an insular community having rights to a false opinion? This is literally the fruits of an entire generation raised off this stupid idea that they're so special they can live in a fantasy land.
Wrong. 100% wrong.
They're allowed to just...
100% wrong.
Oh, I need my safe space where all of my safe... No, okay. No, this... Literally, read that phrase that he started out with. Read the phrase where he says, I am uncomfortable with. Read that. What did it say again?
My problem is that I'm uncomfortable with the tactic of overriding an already pre-existing community's preference for another candidate.
Okay, imagine if Barry Goldwater, actually, no, not Barry Goldwater.
It transcends everything, man. It has nothing to do with politics.
What do you mean it has nothing to do with politics?
What I'm talking about is, I was just full disclosure.
We never would have passed the Civil Rights Act.
No,
had this been
Can I just give you
a
an
valid
example?
excuse.
Can I give you an example?
Yes, give me an example.
Okay, so just recently, I was listening to music, getting ready to do this. I was watching Mariah Carey songs on YouTube, and I was reading through the comment sections, right?
Okay.
And this is basically, I'll word it for you this. We stand Warren in this house is basically what he's saying. He's saying, this is an Elizabeth Warren community.
That's fine. Have your preference.
My point is, people, if there was a pop music diva blog and everyone there's Mariah Carey fans and they have a straw poll and I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good component, but like Lady Gaga fans come in and spam and say she's the real diva, they would say this poll is fraudulent. We were spammed by outside people. We stand Mariah in this house is basically what they would say. It's exactly what he said here. So like I said, this is something that has nothing to do with politics.
That makes sense to you?
It's insular online communities where it's one of the things that's kind of dangerous, where people get together and they all say, hey, we talk about politics, but really we talk about why we like Elizabeth Warren. And the thing is, when people from outside of your insular bubble creep in, they're going to reject you as spammers. And this guy, I think it's really cool here because we're seeing this person admit, and he's saying, look, I acted poorly. I had some weird conspiracy theory in my head that because we wrote a bad article about Andrew Yang, people were maliciously coming here to spam the board. Which even then, it's like if you write a bad article about a guy and they have so many supporters that come to spam you, it tips your scales. Isn't that statistically significant data that, holy cow, we mentioned the guy's name and he jumps up in our polls out of spite voting?
Okay, but hold on.
So what you're seeing is someone saying, we're a Warren website. This is a Warren community. We vote for Warren. If you don't think with us, we don't want you. And I appreciate
That's
the
fine
apology
to say that
because
we're a
someone's
Warren
saying,
website and we don't want other people here, but then admit that you're not actually doing a poll. Because
well,
polls
they
are
passively do. I'll show you. Want to know how they do?
Wait, but hold
that?
on. You literally think so. I don't understand this, Cody. I want to know what's going through your head. If I run the Mariah Carey fan page,
no, not Mariah Carey fan page. It's like I said, this isn't the Elizabeth Warren fan page.
No,
it's
but
daily
whatever.
costs.
I'm using your example.
My example was different than that, though.
Oh, but so if I run the Mariah Carey fan
Not the
page,
Mariah Carey fan page, like the Pop Diva page.
Okay, if I
News.
run the Pop Diva page,
Yes.
popdivanewspage.com.
There we go.
Okay. And everybody knows that we're generally Mariah Carey fans here, right? You're allowed to stray into other waters, you know.
Stand Mariah in this house.
But we stand Mariah in this house, okay? Then if I run a straw poll, it's not going to be an actual real poll because I'm only polling Mariah Carey fans. So I'd have to open to the public if I wanted to be taken seriously as an actual poll.
Yeah.
So how can I complain using your very same electoral analogy of like 3 minutes ago? I have no grounds to complain if a bunch of Lady Gaga people cruise onto my website and say, hey, there's this Pop Diva poll going on and we think Lady Gaga's better.
We agree. Like I said, I think you're missing one thing I said here. I fully agree with what the author wrote in this first paragraph. He was acting very crudely. He had this weird conspiracy theory in his head that made no sense. And I think the reason why he did that is because he's biased towards Warren, and it's an insular online community that's
and he's
biased
part of a
towards
generation
Warren.
read on this idea that if you don't like something, you're allowed to just reject it and go to your safe space and accept an alternate
Sort of,
reality.
but like I said, I think that's like it's just these safe space snowflake millennials. Dude, people do it with fighting games. Like on this fighting game board, we play Street Fighter. We don't play Mortal. We don't play Tekken. Street Fighter with those hitboxes, my superior limb-based.
Yeah, but they're also not complaining if
no.
they say what's the greatest video game of all time,
Yes,
and then
they
all the
would.
Tekken
No,
people come in
they
and say,
would.
it's actually
they,
Tekken.
Know what their response would be?
What?
We were flooded by outside spammers who their response would literally.
Then it's no longer a poll if outsiders aren't allowed to participate.
And I agree with that.
Like, it's not an election if only Republicans can show
I
up.
agree, and that's why I'm saying it was good they apologized, because they're basically in the apology they admit that, look, this is more like an insular community here, and we care about Warren, and even if you guys like Andrew Yang, and now even if like the thing I think is hilarious, I want to go through. They have the actual number of votes on here. They do. So you have to put your email in to vote. So they just got, let me get if I can blow this number up for you guys. How many new email addresses Daily Cost got? And they are 23,645. And it's such an insular, they stand Warren so hard to the point where it's like, I don't care that we just potentially got, let's say, 5,000 stick around as daily readers. We got 25,000 email addresses. No, Yang should never beat Warren in our opinion, because in this website, we're Warren fans. So we're going to actually redo the poll, and that's the article I want to show you guys next. This is an old article from October 3rd. And I think I hope the person who was behind this article wrote that apology, because it does feel like this kind of has to be one of those moment of clarity things when you're writing headlines like this. I talked about it on stream before, but just breaking down this headline. Andrew Yang would be, so he isn't, at 1% if, again, so not currently, Daily Cost straw poll excluded outside spamming. So again, when you're writing
and
these,
what they blame
when
the
you're writing
spamming
these
on.
weird, oh yeah, sorry, and I promise I go over this, so we'll go over this.
Yeah.
What they basically considered outside spamming is, here we go. So they, where does he references it? Basically, anybody who voted who is not currently on their role as a active user. So if you came to the website and gave them your email, they didn't have your email, and you don't frequently traffic the website, they would count you as an outside spammer. Let me see if I can. So the straw poll went live.
So if you're outside of our Elizabeth Warren Club and you vote in our general population poll, you're just a spammer now.
Again, but like I said, were you taking like the SJW, Snowflake, these darn kids in their safe spaces?
Not Snowflake. It's a dangerous mentality.
What I'm saying is
in our youth.
This mentality exists on cartoon-based blogs that like SpongeBob, anime blogs that like Naruto more than others. Like this mentality exists online all over the place. And I think it can be dangerous to say, oh, it's like a political slanted thing. No, dude, this is the reality of online insular communities where, I mean, dude, just read what he said. He basically said he was uncomfortable with someone coming into his, you could say safe space, which is coming into my little online friend club and then disagreeing with me.
Okay. Well, I can tell you this much right now.
Overriding an already pre-existing community's preference for another candidate simply because you can. You could also say I'm trying to voice my opinion because say, well, there's a website with a lot of Warren supporters. I think they should know there's a lot of Yang supporters as well. I appreciate the apology, but I think what we're seeing here, because everyone wants to get on him politics gets you that edge, but dude, it happens on anime boards, sports boards, music boards, celebrity boards, pop culture boards. I guarantee you on like carpentry forums.
Yeah,
there's
but
certain carpentry forums like we prefer
but
this type of carpentry in this forum. We prefer Chevys on this forum, not Dodgers.
No, I
it
get
exists everywhere.
But no, it doesn't, because I've never seen this come from a Yang forum. And the Yang gang doesn't do BS like this. And I'll tell you right now, yes, they're biased towards their guy. That's fine. But that's part of the reason why I agreed to cover Andrew Yang on this podcast is because I have no respect for somebody that cannot step out of their bubble for 2 seconds long enough that they have to go all angry keyboard warrior on anybody that disagreed with him. That's foolish. I have no respect for these guys. And I don't see that crap coming from the Yang gang. So you can't say it happens everywhere because I don't see that crap happening on Yang gang forums.
But, I mean, it's like this particular instance as well. And I agree. By and large, the Yang gang's actually pretty cool with most people. It's one of the reasons why Andrew Yang's growing so well, because it's a fun movement to be a part of. I agree with that 100%. I like I said, man, I agree with everything this author said in the first paragraph of his apology. When he said, I had some weird, crazy conspiracy theory in my head with no evidence, and I was being a real jerk. Agree with him 1,000%. When he says that, I'm like, yeah, you were, man. I agree.
I can respect that. Fine. I can respect that.
What I'm saying is, I agree with you. You shouldn't be doing this stuff. I just think that, like I said, man, this is what happens when you have these online insular communities. It's one of the dangerous things about any kind of insular online community is you get to this point where you come up with these weird, bizarre conspiracy theories with no evidence that, like, oh, clearly what's going on is we wrote a bad article about Andrew Yang. So people who like Andrew Yang are going to our website, giving us traffic, giving us their email addresses and voting in this poll, which, like, even if their motives is to spite us, if they're fans of Andrew Yang voting in the poll, it's still significant data. You have to be so dug in and so inside your own bubble to go through the mental gymnastics of printing a headline, Warren unofficially grows her lead, in parentheses. Basically, in your own headline saying, well, she doesn't really. Warren grows her lead. Not really, is basically the headline here. So when you get in these, like I said, these bubble, these online communities about anything, anyone could fall prey to this when it comes to anything, man. And here's the latest example is some of this crap we're seeing right here. I mean, oh my God, I know you like talking about this a lot, but isn't this like literally kind of like oppressive regime-ish? The rules are the rules. So these will be the quote unquote official results. But tomorrow we'll analyze the real results. Like what kind of, the mental gymnastics it takes to basically have a poll that is not. And like I said, when they try to prove it was outside spammers, their proof of outside spammers is basically just saying people who don't go to our website regularly, which, I mean, okay, but that's not what the rules are. They even say it. The rules are the rules. God, going through it really bothers me, going through it crazy, this thing they published in. I appreciate him kind of having a moment of update polls are closed. Yang supporters ruined the poll. They ruined it.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate the moment of clarity here, and I appreciate the honesty. I mean, I don't think it was intentional. I think it was unintentional honesty. But to admit
those freedom riders, they ruined the South.
But just the fact that his real problem is
spamming the South.
Look, on my website, in my world, Warren's winning. Don't disrupt that. Is basically what he said in that line right there. And I appreciate someone at least admitting it. Like I said, intentional or not, admitting Look, I'm not even mad that Warren lost necessarily. I'm mad that Warren lost on this poll, because on this poll, she's supposed to win. And that's a dangerous thing that just comes from being online. It's not political. Politics heighten it, but it's not a political thing, man. It's fighting games, anime, movie, TVs. Think of anything you could have a disagreement on. That this exact thing happens. I've seen it happen. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen websites come out and say, well, we had a poll, but outside spammers ruined it, because basically what they're saying is our audience is supposed to think X, our poll is supposed to give us Y. So when it doesn't, we are going to go through here and we're going to filter out the Yang noise and make it conform to our world.
Can I push back by reading off of the Daily Kostas site, and I just sent you the link. I explored, I went deeper into their site, and I found their bios. Mark Molitsas Suniga, founder and publisher, is founder and publisher of the Daily Kos, the largest progressive community site in the United States. Okay, so SJW title is not far off. He is the co-author of the critically acclaimed book, Crashing the Gate, Netroots, Grassroots, and the Rise of People-Powered Politics, and The Resistance Handbook, 45 Ways to Fight Trump. He's also the author of Taking on the System, Rules for Radical Change in a Digital Era, and American Taliban, How Sex, Sin, and Power Bind Jihadists and the Radical Right.
What's your point?
You're trying to tell me that this is just some kind of natural problem with insular communities. It's not politically motivated.
Yeah.
And I push back. The site is made by a guy who literally wrote a book titled Taking on the Systems, Rules for Radical Change in a Digital Era.
Nothing to do with what I'm talking about. It's just you again exposing
So
your
the
bias
blogger
that you
who
don't like
says
these
that
people.
I am going to blog on behalf of progressive ideals and am willing to smear everybody along the way, because we all know that's what progressives do, and he literally titled the book almost after Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky. Okay.
But again, that's nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
It has nothing to do.
No.
The fact that a blogger just did something so mind-bogglingly unethical.
This is literally confirmation bias.
Okay, fine. You can talk.
I hate this guy because he's a dumb lefty. See, I proved it. He is
No.
a dumb lefty.
It's okay to be a lefty. Then there's it goes center left.
Oh my god.
Then lefty.
Such crap.
Then it goes
Such
SJA, social justice advocates. I actually like those people.
Such crap.
Then there's the SJWs that, you know, even the redheaded comedian makes fun of. Who's the redheaded ultra spiritual guy? He's really funny. Oh, come on. He's
I don't know. I really don't know.
He's the one that says, like, if meat eaters acted like vegans, and oh gosh, I'll send it to you.
But like I said, this isn't like some lefty issue. It's an issue among anything. Like, again, I want to read. This is more what we saw here. This is what they say in this thing. Once you filter out the Yang noise, whatever that means, Elizabeth Warren is around her usual high 30s, low 40s. You have communities online. They're used to things being a certain way. Warren's supposed to win. High 30s, low 40s. It doesn't happen. They freak out. They go through all these mental gymnastics, and they come up with why they're actually right. I know you can confirmation bias. You don't like lefties, and he is one. But I'm telling you, if this was a Star Wars...
How is that confirmation bias? You have a guy who wrote a book on literal digital activism.
But what I'm saying is this, if this was a Star Wars website, and this Star Wars website likes the prequels more than the new movies, and they had a poll, and people spammed the poll, basically... Certain communities get used to, we have things this way in our community, and when things aren't done that way, they freak out. And I think it was really telling the way this person apologized, actually admitting. What bothered me was the fact is that things are supposed to be a certain way in my, you can say like your safe space, but like my community. And they even, like, one thing I thought was interesting, I don't know if you even realized that, I believe it was in the Daily Kos staff, where is it? They refer to themselves as a progressive community site. That's what they refer to themselves.
But that's not a progressive idea. Like, honestly, not letting black people into your white community because you feel comfortable with your community is not a progressive idea.
That's anything. Like I said, they view themselves as a community. I think that's what we're seeing.
Okay.
Online communities
then don't hold polls. And don't call it a poll.
Hey,
just call it a fan site.
I agree. They should
almost poll.
They should have apologized because the stuff they were writing was absolute crap and garbage. I can't believe they left this up where they basically say a real race is one that doesn't include Yang. Are you kidding me? What kind of crap is that? Also, pretty much all of Yang support was external, even during the last burn, and they're basically saying there is no strong local support for Yang. The only way you could think this is if you live in a bubble and don't come out of it. And that is what we're seeing here. Like I said, it's absolute crap. It's a travesty. Not travesty, but it is embarrassing that they left some of this stuff up. I mean, this first paragraph is just literal crap. But like I said, man, people will dig in and defend their community in the way things are supposed to be. Even if it means writing headlines or in your own headline, you undermine your point because you know it's a lie. Even if it means fudging the data in your own polls to prove your point. When people have things in their community that are supposed to be a certain way, they fight to defend them, man. I think that's what we're seeing now.
Okay. Well, so I self-correct right now in the sense that it does say it was written by COS staff, so we don't know who that is. I did go down the staff thingy and read some excerpts.
I have to imagine it's the person who wrote the apology. I mean, why else would you write the apology?
Well, who wrote the apology?
Rexy Meteorite Community Post.
Okay, cool, fine. So yeah, we'd assume that. But just based off all the bios that we see, I don't know. I don't trust it. I just don't trust it.
Because you're biased against lefties and don't like them.
No, it's not true.
You cited...
I'm incredibly biased.
The data point, yeah, exactly. The data point you cited to me was like, look, see, he's a lefty progressive. I'm like, I know, I don't care. It doesn't get to my point.
No, but
my point is that people are
that mentality is not that mentality is not prominent in moderates or in conservatives. It's just not.
It's prominent on literally every board on the internet in the world. So,
I think of maybe... Well, you don't get a lot of conservative
Pick
people.
any community. It's prominent in that community. Truck community. Go to truck forums. Guarantee you. There's on Facebook. There's group pages. This is for Dodge Ram fans.
No,
like,
echo chambers. Yes, echo
yeah.
chambers is a human experience, but an echo chamber so deep that you refuse to accept the facts,
data,
and the data and the math presented to you by a general population poll that you put out into cyberspace yourself. No, that is unique to the
I've seen
modern,
it's not
youthful.
It's not.
Yeah,
it's not. I've seen it done about everything, so I know it's not.
Okay, fine. Well, I'm not going to try and convince you of what everybody else knows is an absolute reality. These people will. We're not even going to get into them.
Yeah, exactly. You better not finish that sentence. You got no point. You got no leg to stand on. I guarantee you, man. People will do this.
What? That the modern left with all of this safe space stuff
people
hasn't bred a monster amongst the youth?
People will do this about Dorito flavors online, man. It's the internet. It's nothing to do with politics.
Okay. Tell us what you guys think. Is this just general human error? Or is this type of general human error often found in a certain portion, disproportionately, of the political spectrum than others, like I think? And I think it's found disproportionately in the progressive left. So you can tell me, is Cody right?
It's crap and you're wrong. So just let people know.
It's crap and I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So do you believe with Cody it's crap and I'm wrong or not? This is what we do like about the Yang Gang. I don't see these kind of shenanigans with the Yang Gang, and I do think it is hilarious that somebody
actually. Yang Gang, I agree. They're very polite and general. It is a unique experience online to see a group of people so large be generally so polite. Obviously, can't speak for everyone, but generally speaking, such a polite community, being such a large community, is unique on the internet. I agree. And
it goes back to this is what I'll end on. We did say just yesterday, Cody and I did a video highlighting the fact that first they ignore you, then they mock you, then they fight you, then you win. And I said yesterday, Andrew Yang's time has come, and the proof that his time has come will be over the incoming weeks. You're going to start noticing a lot of fights, especially fights from the left. Okay? And this is exactly evidence of the fact that Andrew Yang has begun already that third step. First they ignore you, then they mock you, then they fight you, then you win. This is a perfect example of exactly what we were talking about yesterday, and the fights have begun. So let us know what you guys think. If you haven't liked the video yet, please like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Check us out on Twitch. Also, you can find us on Facebook at Problem Solver Politics, and find us also on Twitter, where we announce a lot of our upcoming events and upcoming videos before they even come out at PSP Radio 1, or leave us voicemail at 1-833 PSP Radio. This is Problem Solver Politics. See you in the next video.